Hello, everyone, and welcome to Swag Her Media. I am Chris Natha DeRozier, and I am super excited because we have a special guest. Tonight, we are having our What's Going On segment, and we have the amazing and beautiful Natasha
Oh,
Camy.
thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. Go Birds, as you can see. Super
All
Bowl
right,
week, so
now,
we're in
we got to
it. Gotta
represent.
represent.
Thank you so much for being with us this evening.
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, yes. I would love to just dive right in. If you could just really tell us, and I know this is a really big question, but who is Natasha Camy?
Man, who is Natasha Camy? Well, she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a God-fearing woman. She's someone who was raised by very strong women, and has a strong support system who really pours into her daily and hourly at times. Um, she's fun-loving, a little sarcastic,
That's
a
okay.
big, oh yeah, yeah, just a little bit. If you grew up in Philly, you got a little bit of sarcasm in you, and a huge sports fan, and really an advocate for seeing people be successful, finding ways for women to be successful in all aspects and all facets, and really wants to try to make a better way for people that are behind her. So uh, that's probably the best thing I could do for that.
I love that. Thank you so much. And all of that makes up who you are. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
When did you first fall in love with sports?
Oh, I feel like I was born to be in sports, right? Like I feel like my mom watched all the sports when I was a kid, and like when she was carrying me, and then when I came out, being in Philadelphia, we were such a big sports market. It's one of those things
Hmm.
where sports are on, 365, 12 months out of the year. And so I didn't really have much choice kind of starting out, because just I love the excitement. I love the passion. My grandmother, who had recently passed, she was a big player and a basketball player. And so my mom was a volleyball player, right? So the women in my life were athletes, right? The men in my life were athletes. And then we're in a city filled with sports. So, like, you tell me where I was going with this thing, right? And so I had natural strength and natural ability to try to do a lot of different sports like volleyball and basketball. And so once I realized how much I enjoyed it and the competition, it's just been a lifelong journey for sports for sure.
That is so awesome. So it runs in the family.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So, as a veteran women's basketball official, I wanted to know from you, what changes have you seen um, most recently from past seasons and this one? And also, what are your thoughts just about like the excitement around like women's basketball too? Because I know that
Yeah.
has been a really exciting topic, especially as of recent.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, just in regards to women's sports, I when I started out in officiating, I went to like the first 10 Final Fours, when I started about 15 years ago, right? And so, when I first went, there were always like UConn fans and Tennessee fans because of Pat Summitt and Dino. And then of course, the other two teams that would be in there, they would have some fans, but it really was like UConn versus Tennessee. And I would be able to buy a ticket for the games that day, like maybe even outside, right?
Hmm.
And so, as it went on, it got a little bit more popular, but it still was kind of like specific to fan bases, but not necessarily like fans of basketball. And just in the last 2 or 3 years, the ticket prices are up, and the ability to buy tickets right outside are long gone, right? Which is a good thing.
Hmm.
And so knowing that and seeing that, now being so a part of it, an intricate part of it, as my career has evolved and I do better, bigger and better games, it's very, very cool to see. I still remember my very first Division 1 basketball game at LaSalle University, and if there were 25 people in there, 10 of them were my family. Right. So, and then you work a game, some nights and there's 15,000 fans, and so, just seeing the involvement of just people who are interested and people who are buying in. There's some arenas that I go in where I have some courtside fans that I am very familiar with just because I go there often, where we have a good rapport, right? And so you want to have those moments where you can be human and really see them coming
Mhm.
out and watching young ladies play, but also be invested in women's basketball, and then just in women's sports in general. If you look at soccer, just the amount of teams that they've added. They now have a volleyball, league. They have all types of things in the Olympics with doing volleyball, like beach volleyball and indoor volleyball. Some of the bigger schools do like such a big turnout for their Final Four volleyball too. So as a woman and a woman who's been in sports her whole life, I say to people all the time, like, this is like watching a plant that you've been planting for so long, right? Like waiting for this baby to hatch, and
Mhm.
now it's hatching, right? And it hasn't even really flown, right? Because we have so much to grow and gap through, so much investment that hasn't even really been tapped into. And so, the excitement is there, but we have so much further to go, and the sky is the limit in all facets, and us being champions for each other, right? As women, and as women who are women in sports,
Mhm.
understanding that, putting the best product out there, either as an official, as a player, as a coach, as an administrator, as a commentator. We all have a duty to serve our respective games. And I think that as women in the game, and even the men who are in our game as well, they also understand how important it is to really make sure that we put the best product out there.
That's so awesome. Can you also tell us the journey from athlete to official? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's hard to say out loud now. Like, I didn't like the officials. I mean, come on, I was a player, right? I always was trying to
That's
find a way to
okay.
get, trying to find a way to get over a little bit,
We listen and we don't judge, so it's all
Oh yes,
good.
are we doing that? Are we doing that one right now? We listen and we don't judge. I am
Yes.
never like the refs ever. I just never agreed. I just never agreed. I never was disrespectful or anything like that, but I was like, come on, man, like you really think that, I tried to smooth talk them a little bit to try to get a couple extra calls more than give a little bit of fire. I was always a honey person, try to give some people some honey. But I just didn't see,
Yeah.
it was not appealing to me whatsoever, to say the least, right? And so,
It's
when
okay.
my grandmother introduced it to me, I was like, a referee? It's grandma. No one wants to be the referee. No one. Uh, and she's like, well, someone does because they're broke. And I'm like, wow, okay. So she was a very direct woman. So I said, all right,
Mhm.
I'll give it a try. And so when I happened to do a few games, maybe for about 3 to 6 months, I realized, you know what? This ain't that bad, right? Like you're in the game, but you're not in the game, right? So going from an athlete having to understand
Mhm.
plays,
Mhm.
run the set, do the drills, all that stuff. I don't have to do that, but I can still be a part of the game. This is awesome, right? Like that last screen that I got when I played, when I didn't get up as faster, as fast as I used to, I realized this was not a long term thing for me as a player. And being a referee, I'm like, this ain't bad, man. I'm not focused on, you know, winning and losing. I'm just focused on doing the best that I can. And that's kind of what you want to do as a player, but you do need to win or lose, right? So it's just taking that little bit of mindset from that
Mhm.
and then applying it as official, which has been tremendous. So
I love that. I love how you're able to see, now you're able to see things from two different perspectives.
yes.
So that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How does being an athlete, having the experience of being an athlete, does that give you advantage as far as being more empathetic to the players or, being able to anticipate a play? How does that help you?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's a huge learning curve, right? Because even last night I'm working a game and I'm like, okay, they're in a zone, right? I'm already thinking, just where I'm needed for where we're gonna have plays, right? So a zone.
Hey, Natasha, are you still there? Just making sure we're still connected. All right, so we're going to give Natasha a second. Looks like there may be some technical challenges happening, but we'll have her back in just a second so she can continue sharing with us. If you are enjoying this so far, please say something in the chat, show some love in the comments, because I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. And again, we're going to give Natasha just a moment just to rejoin us here. But if you are enjoying yourself, let us know, and let us know where you're tuning in from as well. We're so excited. We're learning about her life as an athlete, and then that transition to being an official and what that looks like, and how she's able to help players with that experience that she already has. So super excited. Yes, I was too. I was too. And she was getting really, it was getting really, really good, Fancy. So I'm excited for her to rejoin us and share with us her thoughts. So we'll give her a moment to do that. Jalen says, go birds. Yes, go birds. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay, so Natasha is joining us. Again, let's get her.
Yeah.
There you are.
Awesome. Sorry about that. I think I got a phone call and it jammed me up.
No
Um,
worries. No worries.
yeah, I
We
was
were,
just saying,
yeah, just talking about the advantages of you having, that experience of being an athlete and then now an official. Okay, so Natasha's going to be joining us again. And Fancy says, don't forget that Women and Girls in Sports Day is tomorrow. So if you didn't know that, that is a fun fact that Women's and Girls in Sports Day is tomorrow. So that is a fun fact for everyone joining us tonight. I did want to share as well, as we're having our interview with Natasha, I know she's going to be joining us again. It has been very intriguing for me because I'm not a big sports person, but I'm learning so much just from her point of view, her experience, and her family, and how all of them were super, super huge sports fans. And so I hope you guys are enjoying her story and her experience as an official as well as a former athlete as well.
oh, am I good? Can you hear me?
I hear you. Yep, I hear you and I see you.
Okay, cool, 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 cool. Sorry, I was on my phone. I thought it'd be easier, but people keep calling me, and that's not helping. So,
No worries, we're here.
yes. Yeah. So I was saying, like, as a player, I can understand when they're running a zone or they're running one on one. If we have somebody who really likes to take jump shots, I know when we have someone who is a driver, who likes to try to create some opportunities at the basket. And so when we're pre-gaming for our games, that's the type of information that I like to bring to my crews and say, hey, this team really likes to go to the basket. Let's make sure defensively, if someone tries to take a charge or a block on them, that we have identified the defender and make sure that they don't displace that offensive player, make sure that they get there in time, make sure that we have a whistle on those plays because they're going to happen, right? It's not like, I'm not sure if this is going to happen. No, it's going to happen, right? If they have 3-point shooters, making sure they're able to get up and down so that, that no one gets hurt, no one lands on a foot. So being a player, I have my own strategies of understanding what they like to do, and then where do I need to be and where does my crew need to be in order to make sure that we serve the game well.
Oh, I love that. That's such a huge advantage, I think, and that's amazing. And I wanted to just also get your perspective on a referee shortage. How does
Yeah.
that affect the game? Does that affect accuracy? Does that affect, like, what are some, I guess, cons to that? Is the quality of the game affected at all, would you say?
I wouldn't say at the collegiate level it is. I think that, you have enough people who are interested and willing to do those games. I think when we're talking about amateur basketball, anywhere with like high school or junior college, some of the smaller leagues, you run into those issues because, again, the compensation isn't as high. And so it's a level of commitment and sacrifice to be an official, right? In order to officiate, you have to have a disposable income to work a game, get to a game, look the part of a game, and then get compensated later, right? And so a lot of people just in the world, that's a hard thing to kind of put money out for, especially because you don't know if you're gonna get paid right away, and you don't know when you're getting paid, right? And so when you think about some of those lower league games, you do see a little bit of a fall off, right? Just because there's just not enough numbers, right? And also, when we do get people, they don't necessarily stay. So we have like a 1 to 5 year ratio where if we can keep an official for the first 5 years, they normally stay. But those first 5 years are tough because you have to get through some of the pain points of the financial burden, and also just the learning curve too of dealing with not necessarily being the most liked individual ever. And how do you navigate that emotionally and physically, et cetera. And so, I think when we talk about just some of the entry level opportunities in regards to games, it definitely takes a little bit of a hit just because it's a numbers game. You don't always have the youngest people, you don't always have the most fit people. But again, it's twofold, right? If our officials, speaking for one, because I'm going to advocate for us, we're treated a little bit better, they would want to stay, right? And so if they're not treated well, like anyone in any job, you're not going to necessarily want to put yourself through that. And so, just continuing to educate our fans and our stakeholders to let them know how important it is that we need all of us at every level, and that everyone's trying to. So,
Thank you for sharing that with us. Please tell us about Referee Ready Academy. We want all of the info. What is it? What does it do? And please share with us.
absolutely. So, Referee Ready, I started out as a community building, right? So, this is an opportunity for people to feel seen, feel heard, be able to share in experiences, right? It's a great place for people to come if they're looking to start in officiating, or if they're already officiating, you can start to learn what those gaps are in their game, right? So, we do a year-long training that we do virtually. We also do several in-person opportunities as well. So we have our Referee Ready Summit at going to be held at the Tampa in the Final Four. So it'll be in conjunction with the Final Four. Just an end of the year celebration for referees to hang out, have some drinks, DJ, have a great time. Really just celebrate, accomplishing another great season, and just giving us a way to kind of put our hair down, but also be at the games that we all either aspire to work, or our friends are working, or our mentors are working, or we used to work, right? When I would go to those Final Fours for those 10 years, I realized that there was nothing for officials at the Final Four, right? And so I would go with someone like yourself, me and a friend, and then, another referee and their friend would go. And then maybe we would run into each other and be like, I didn't know you were here. And it's like, well, dang, if there was something specific for us, we could have been here together. Right. And so Referee Ready was designed literally to try to close some of the gaps that I dealt with coming into this business, and really trying to find a way to streamline that, whether it's creating community, whether that's learning how to be a better official, whether that's where to start to be an official. Like I talked about a little earlier about the mental component. There's a lot of mental fatigue we experience, and a lot of mental abuse at times that we experience just from trying to be accurate and then always being told that we're not. And so where do we find a safe place to kind of deal with that? How do you handle trauma? How do you make sure that you're putting the right energy in the right places? And then also just travel. the higher you go up in this business, the more you have to travel. And so, how do you navigate that? How far in advance do you travel? Like, these are things that I had to learn on my own. I also needed to ask these questions to other veterans who shared that information with me. But when whoever's the next
Mhm.
Natasha Camy, they need to know that information too. And so, Referee Ready is a catch-all to be able to provide those type of information and data points so that people can have that for themselves and be able to share that back. And so, the members that we have right now, I tell them all the time, you guys are great, all 20 plus of y'all, but it's important that you take this information and you give it to somebody else, right? And that you encourage them to join the community so that they can also be empowered and understand the knowledge that it needs to be successful. Because we have a shortage, but how do we fix that? You got to do something, right? As a veteran official, I want to see more of us in the game. I want to see more of us stay in the game. I want to see more women be able to stay in the game. We have to find ways to be able to be supportive to them and give them the resources they need to be successful.
I love how you saw a need and you thought about what did I need, right? And
Yeah.
how can I create this safe space for others? That is amazing. And so I'm so happy to hear you say that because that's something that just gets me excited. So thank you
Thank you.
for sharing
Yeah.
that with us. And you have, I felt like from what you shared, you've accomplished so much. And I know that there's so much more to do. What's the ultimate goal, would you say, for yourself?
Oh man. I don't even know if I want to put an end to the goal, right? Like when I sit there, I'm like, don't cut me off. Right, God, whatever blessings you have for me, keep them
Right.
coming. I don't even want to, you know what I mean? I got my little goals, and I'm sure he's got more goals for me from there. And so, for me, it's twofold, right? Like I want when I hear that question, I think of, I want to leave this business better than what I started, right? However that looks, right? And so, whether that's more women, whether that's more people of color, whether that's more single moms, single dads, whatever, right? I want to be able to kind of cut into the fat of how do we get people who are economically disadvantaged into the job, because again, you need to have a level of cash flow in order to really get started, right? And so, when I'm able to do that, not if, but when I'm able to do that, I'm going to feel like that's part of the ultimate goal, right? As a career, in officiating, my ultimate goal is to work the final game for college basketball, right? That is the ultimate goal. That's how I started this thing. That's what I want to do. And so I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to do that. But I'm also okay if that doesn't happen, right? Because I know that the product that I put on the floor is valuable, and that the coaches and players that I interact with on a daily basis understand that value. And I appreciate, that they know that they're getting the best of me each night that I go on the floor. So whether that happens or not, also okay, right? When I hear ultimate
Mhm.
goal, it's like, how do I provide a life for my family that when I go, it can dividend, multiple times after me, right? And so, what does that look like? How does that planning happen? What are the investments that I need to make, and understanding that I have in present day that can help them, 40, 100 years down the line. And so when you say ultimate, it's like it's multifaceted, right? And it's all the different areas of my life. And but making sure that people feel valued and heard, and that there's something available to them if they want to do it. And I had a part of that, I think is really, truly the ultimate goal.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much just for sharing your wisdom with us, your experience with us, your heart for the amazing work that you get to do. Like it has been truly inspiring just to listen to you. You're so excited about it, and that is beautiful. So I wanted to personally thank you for that because your light does shine really bright. And so thank you for just continuing to be that light. And I'm excited that you're here with us.
Yeah,
And I hope it isn't the last time. I hope you come back because I
absolutely.
love
Happy.
this, and I'm sure everyone watching does too.
Yeah, yeah. And check us out on all the things: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're on. It's just Referee Ready. My personal name, Natasha Camy, is my personal page. And you can find out more information about what we do and maybe what I do. And if there's a way to connect and help you out as well, I'm always open to ideas on that stuff for sure. So please.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And guys, remember to connect with Natasha because she is fabulous, as you have heard and seen. Again, Natasha, thank you for being here with us on what's going on for Swag Her Media. Please come back because just we love it. We love all of the things. And so, guys, thank you for hanging out with us today on what's going on. And we will see you really soon. Until then, be well, everyone, and take
Go
care.
birds! Go birds!
Yes, go birds.